So right, from the horse's mouth, Steve Bannon, it has the show War Room Pandemic. If you never checked it out, don't. You're not going to learn anything. I'm dead serious. Like, you won't even pick up stuff like, oh, I want to see what the right wing thinks. Every time we're on there, it's just a mess. Right. So, oh yeah. But here she is in her house in Georgia talking because she's got a lot of free time. Yeah. So she's got a lot of free time. So she's talking to Steve Bannon.
Bring in
there
now.
He is. Now the newly indicted Steve Bannon. Let's go, Bannon. Whack, whack the beep.
Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Sorry, what? Congressman? Please tell me he said woman.
I bring in now Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Okay. Maybe I haven't checked her pronouns in a while. But okay. All right.
Congressman Greene, I want to talk about, by the way, we're having a special tomorrow. We're going to have some polls from her audio. We're going to play your audio here in a minute about the prisoners of 6 January.
The prisoners of 6 January, held by the regime, the Biden regime, as keeping these people from freedom. Although they have attorneys, and most of them could be out if they would cop to the charges that showed up in the video. But when they're like, "Fuck you, I didn't do that," and they're like, "This you?" And like, "Yeah, but freedom." All right, stay in jail, asshole.
You have gone out of your way to reach out for this. Tomorrow, first hour special, 10 to 11, is going to be on the prisoners.
So this is, by the way, in case you're wondering how this works, Steve Bannon coordinated a lot of the January 6th shit. That's what he's going to get called in front of the January 6th committee on, and he's in deep shit about that kind of stuff. It's treasonous and it's awful. And she was a conduit for those very same things, and they were coordinating, and they were also talking to some of the people who went up there on January 6th. And the whole reason she's going down to the jail to talk to these folks is to make sure they keep their story straight. Otherwise, they're not going to get any breaks, and they're going to try and run interference for them if they toe the line.
Local prisoners of 6
Mafia bullshit.
January. Can you give us an update, Congressman Greene, and then we're going to play your clip.
Yes. After visiting the jail Thursday night, after months of trying to get in, Steve, there may be more.
It was terrible, I have to say.
Concerns. Julie Kelly reported after hearing some of the family members of January 6th defendants that there was an issue or an argument that took place in the jail about masks, and that there was possibly pepper spray being used or maybe even tear gas being used.
Really? On unruly prisoners? But don't you understand? They're allowed to be unruly and spit on cops and threaten their lives and threaten to murder their families if they get out. They're allowed to do that because Trump has blessed them. They are blessed.
Against the January 6th defendants. Her report included that some of the January 6th defendants, several of them may have been taken out on stretchers. So I've been trying to track down information.
Well, that's calling them weak. I think that's rude. You know what I mean? I think they could certainly, those guys are tough. They could take a big spray of tear gas right in the face. Shh.
On that, and made a lot of phone calls yesterday. Haven't gotten any calls back. I'm not.
So nice to know you're effective. Have you thought of running on an "I alone can fix it" ticket?
I'm in district. I'm at home actually right now, so I can't go to the jail myself. But these are
no, the planes don't work. That's weird.
Things that continue, the types of stories that can.
That's right. Police Academy 2, by the way, which is the best one. What are you doing? I'm a vegetarian.
You to come out of the jail, Steve. They're so outrageous. These are violations of their constitutional rights.
By the way, magic drop of the word outrageous. You know what we always say? When they start dropping outrageous, it's because what they're defending themselves against is true.
Everyone is guaranteed a speedy trial. Everyone is guaranteed due process. And in this country, we are supposed.
In this country, they're getting doo-doo process. Am I right, Marge? I mean, come on. Seriously? Come on. I got your due process. In all seriousness, they are getting their due process, fucko. You don't get pushed to the front of the line because mine's a patriot crime.
To be presumed innocent until proven guilty, but that's not the case for these January 6th defendants.
Yeah, they are. Yes, they are. But there's a preponderance of evidence that proves they may be a danger to the community and that they are unrepentantly violent. This happens all the fucking time. Do you think we turn everybody fucking loose between capture and trial? Are you out of your goddamn mind? Do you know what kind of horrifying hellscape cities become? Hello, weird DAs. When you release people on their own recognizance or put a band around their ankle when they're accused of serial rape, murder, and armed robbery, what the fuck is wrong with you? These people tried to cave in a cop's head. Fuck them. And by the way, if they could refute the evidence against them, they'd already be out because their buddies fucked off months ago.
And, you know, none of us agree with the violence at the Capitol.
Well, yeah, you do, because you're saying they don't deserve to be in jail, that violence is different violence, patriot violence. That's what it is. This is like Lee Greenwood violence. This is violence that smells like a 4th of July Yankee candle.
Any fighting or any of that stuff on January 6th. But what all of us should stand lockstep is together on is again.
Yes, we always want to be in lockstep. Very important. This is the thing. We're all lining up and being in the lockstep. Some people call it line dancing, but that's how the beer push started.
These egregious crimes that are happening against the January 6th defendants. And I'm to the point now where I'm demanding the jail needs to be shut down. The mayor should launch an investigation, Mayor Bowser of D.C. I'm calling on all of my Republican colleagues to join.
I had no idea that they treated serial armed robbers and carjackers who've shot people together. She's going to be like, what do you think? It's she's probably a week away from being a Justice for Julius Jones simp. Fucking hell. You don't understand, Steve. A lot of these people, if you let them out, will go right back to the communities that they were in and start murdering again. And statistically, that helps us. If you know what I'm saying, Steve. Do you get what I'm saying? Fucking hell.
In this together. I'm calling on Democrats too that constantly talk about prisons. So this is
Is that what we do? We constantly, I know, I'm always talking about prisons. Largely because I always start breaking out into the It's a Hard Knock Life remix from Austin Powers Goldmember.
such an egregious situation and an outrage. And America, we shouldn't be having communism, but yet here.
Yeah, you know, communism in these jails where these guys get medical treatment and food and a place to stay. This is communism. That's what these jails are. Why don't these people work for their prisons? Why don't we make these people build their own prisons and then climb inside? We should make them make their own locks.
Let me ask you.
Hang on. Communism.
You know, it's like back in my Breitbart days, I said, hey, look, we can attack Pelosi and Obama all we want, but, you know, we got very little punch there, but we can take on the Republican establishment. We got a lot of punch there, and we did. We changed history.
Oh, yeah, yes. Please, don't let me interrupt you, you punching in this situation.
They're taking them on. I understand Democrats, but here's what I don't get, and this gets back to my open about controlled opposition. Why is I hear all this talk all the time from the Republican Party about liberty and about freedom and about consent to the governed and about, about this and, a rule.
Or was that just bullshit, Joel? That was just bullshit.
And all of it. Why is it just Marjorie Taylor Greene and Judge Louis Gohmert and a couple of three others? Matt Gaetz is one of the leaders of this. Why is it like 3 or 4 of you guys up there? And not in the entire Republican conference or the entire Republican Party. up there and not excusing people that did things that violated the law.
Ask me.
But what you're seeing now, at least I see, is a bunch of guys are trespassing or stopping a government, procedure.
Procedure. That's what it is. Yeah, it's just stopping a government procedure with a violent insurrectionist mob that beat up cops, stomped one of their own to death, and then, of course, got another woman shot, smashed their way through windows. Again, stole things, tried to sell them to Russia, built a gallows on the Capitol. It's just all of that together is just kind of like interrupting a government procedure. You know what I mean? It's like fuck, rolling in there, like interrupting a biopsy.
See any vast insurrection charges or insurrection claims?
No, that's interfering with the function of government, specifically the counting of the Electoral College, and using violence to do so. That's it. There's no insurrection charge. There's a series of charges around that idea. I mean, unless you want to go all the way up to firing squad, which is why they're not using that. They're using all the other things because they're being nice to these fuckers.
Insurrection coming in and trying to prove it in a court and indicting guys.
Ouch, Bob. This is like Jabba the Hutt talking to a Gamorrean guard. Owie.
Habeas corpus and all that. Where are the Republicans up there, particularly all the lawyers? No, you're not a lawyer. Yeah. I'm not a lawyer. But 2/3.
Yeah, and nothing in what you've said is even close to. There's not a single thing you've said that would make any of us think you even have a layman's understanding of the law.
One of the problems we don't have enough Marjorie Taylor Greene, so we got too many lawyers. But if we got those lawyers, where are all those lawyers? Where are they?
Yeah, where's the lawyers? I'm supposed to get a lawyer for free. Aren't the Republicans supposed to come over here and be my lawyer for free? That's what this shit is about, by the way. And don't worry. She and Kim Kardashian are taking the same law courses.
Why are they not up there? Why is Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Yeah, because inflation.
At night, we're going to play a recording. Why are you recording it on your phone or whatever? And you got the
Yeah, why are you not rolling in there with a big production crew? Bannon's got a bunch of rig stuff. You could pop off some of those suckers. He's got a couple of, Sony A50s or whatever. A6000s. I don't know, whatever.
Judge Louis Gohmert. And Gohmert's a guy.
Congressman Louis Gohmert. He's no longer a judge. And and they, by the way, I think they're saying that because he's running for attorney general. He wants to run for attorney general.
That's a lawyer and a judge, and he'll step to the step. But where are the rest of the lawyers in the Republican Party? How come they're not up there?
Why aren't they returning my phone calls?
No inquiries.
Well, they're absent, which is the main problem with our Republican Party, right, Steve?
Totally. Right, Steve? I mean, totally. They are not here. They're not at my house in Georgia or in your little, 2-story walk-up studio in Washington, D.C., or on the Chinese millionaires ship that you hang out on with hookers and stuff. They're not. They might be here, actually. I haven't looked in the kitchen in a while.
The Republican Party for decades now has been the party of talk and no action. And this is exactly why we are where we are. It took 19 Republican senators to make Joe Biden's infrastructure bill possible, which is...
by the way, I don't want to interrupt this. I just want you to know I don't want to interrupt this. Please continue.
Completely part of his Build Back Better plan. And then it took 13 Republicans in the House to help pass it because 6 Democrats said no. If those Republicans had voted with our conference and stood against Joe Biden's radical agenda, we wouldn't have an infrastructure bill that passed.
Yes, the radical agenda of an infrastructure bill that passed. Bipartisan infrastructure bill that passed. The radical agenda of that should tell you something. If people think that bipartisanship is radical, that should tell you a little something about the cliff they are falling off of all the time.
Joe Biden signed. That wouldn't have happened. But this is who the Republican Party is, and I'm sick and tired of it. This is why I ran for Congress, and this is why many other great people are stepping up to run now. We have to change the GOP. We have to turn the GOP into the conference, into the party that represents the American people, that represents families, that represents family values, that represents.
Yeah, family values. And the first one I want to talk about is, you know, those toddlers crossing the desert coming into the United States? We needed to dump those fuckers off in an abandoned bus in Juarez like yesterday. What the fuck? Have you seen some of these kids? What are they going to do? Come over here and be like secret Democrat cells?
Children, that represents freedom, that represents the worker, and not sending their jobs over to China or Mexico or India or any other country. This is who the GOP needs.
Oh, so you support the new Taiwanese chip plant that Biden got in Arizona? Yeah? You're for the new Apple plant too? You're going to celebrate that? Yeah? No? They're not going to bring that up? Next time you see Trump, by the way, bring up his Chinese ties. Just curious what he says.
And they need to embrace it, but we still have so many of them in there that are scared to death of a bad news story. They're terrified of going somewhere uncomfortable.
You're right. Republicans are just chicken shit. They just are. I mean, I can't, when you're right, you're right. Broken clock theory there, Marge. And I got to say, like, hats off. Giant big hat that was flattening the side of my hair earlier, like the lady who was just on hats off. I agree. Yeah, you and I don't agree on a lot, but one thing that we do agree on is that Republicans are lazy and self-involved and weak-kneed and disorganized and can't function, can't govern, and fall apart at the first sign of stress. So hey, you go, girl.
Like a jail, where they're actually going to have to face the fact and stand up for people that they have been running away from. And this is who the party is, and I'm tired of it. There's going to be a vote for speaker coming up, and I'm pretty sure we're going to take back the majority in 22, but it's
no.
Seen by how many seats, and it's going to be a critical vote of mine, because as it gets closer, I'm going to be.
It can't be McCarthy. All he did was yell at Trump once on the phone and then bend over and take it up the poop chute the rest of the time. So how in the world can you even make a claim that he's a leader in any ways? I mean, obviously he's smarter than you, and he's stronger than you, and better than you, and he's wiser than you, and he's the best of you, just like Trump. But still, that doesn't mean he should be the majority leader when the Republicans take over. I mean, I'd say you should take it, but I'd go give it to Louis Gohmert. You know what I mean? Old white men have been through enough. Just make up for it. That'll really, believe me, if you want to own AOC in the squad, vote for Louis Gohmert as the speaker next time. I recommend it. Seriously.
Very vocal about it, and I'm not happy right now. I'm very unhappy with what happened last week.
Yeah, I don't know. You seem happy.
I'm a member of a house that got kicked off of my committees. I paid my full dues to the NRCC, which has a lot to do with committees, but yet here 13 Republicans completely defected.
By the way, this is the same shit that Matt Gaetz was bitching about. He dumped $150,000 into the NRCC, and they gave him two committee positions, and she did too, and then they stripped her of them, and they didn't give her a refund. This is so lame.
See Pelosi, their voting card. They still have their committees.
Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene, real quick, we're over.
No one's going to jail.
Congressman, hang on 1 second. We're going to take a short break. Be right back.
Yeah. That's a man who's happy to be indicted for me and you. Yes, Steve Bannon, a doobie-doo.